Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast. I'm Marc Givler. This is a special mid-Southern Swing commitment edition. It's our second one of these. So we leave town and they start getting commitments, I guess. I don't know. But the Buckeyes have landed four-star cornerback Jordan Thomas, a 6'1", 185-pound corner out of Powerhouse Bergen Catholic in New Jersey, former high school teammate of Ohio State freshman wide receiver Quincy Porter. So this certainly takes a little bit of the sting off the Elbert Hill to USC decision. Ohio State's kind of been, in my opinion, in the driver's seat here for a while and validated here with the commitment. Kevin, just thoughts on this and how this maybe helps them turn the page a little bit with the cornerback recruiting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, Jordan Thomas had still been mentioned when it looked like Ohio State was going to get Elbert Hill. Absolutely. So, this isn't a case of this is his replacement. Jordan Thomas always was somebody that Ohio State coveted. I think that there was a hot minute out there that people thought that this was going to be a Notre Dame type of situation, but Ohio State never went away. Ohio State continued to show them the love. Ohio State continued to push, and I've felt for the last month that Ohio State's, at least month, maybe 6 weeks, has been the team to beat for Jordan Thomas. Here on Monday, he has made it official and selected Ohio State. I mean, still have to sign him, but I think this is a really, really important pickup as Ohio State continues to reload BIA and keep top athletes in the room.
Yeah, this is a guy who just fits the physical profile that Tim Walton likes. 6'1" corner. So, your Aaron Scotts, your Devin Sanchez's, your 6 foot plus corners. Jordan's another one of these guys, very physical kid, very good in press, very good, man coverage, can play zone, can kind of do anything you really want your corners to do, has the size and athleticism and length to really do whatever it is that you're asking your secondary to do. It's just a very versatile kid back there. I think fits in very well with what they already have and what they're hopefully trying to add. But, this is a huge pickup. This was a top priority for them, regardless of the Elbert Hill decision. Jordan's been one of their top priorities at the defensive back position the entire way. So this is Tim Walton hitting on a big-name out-of-state target again and consensus number 2 prospect in New Jersey. So a very, very good player out of a tremendous program. I think Quincy Porter's decision last year to commit to Ohio State and then his subsequent spring shine, if you will. He was very impressive in the spring and seems to be really enjoying himself. I don't think any of that has hurt with Jordan Thomas. I'm sure those guys had a lot of good battles in practice in high school, and it looks like they'll be continuing that here at Ohio State.
And one of the things that's really just such a big selling point, and we talked about it during the last commitment podcast, was the commitment of Caden Dixon-Wyatt and the wide receivers going against the Ohio State secondary and the Ohio State secondary going against Ohio State wide receivers. So now, as long as nothing falls apart, Jordan Thomas goes to Ohio State and he will be going against some of the best collegiate wide receivers in the nation, and that will only help him with his own development, help him become better, and raise his stock for the NFL. I mean, he's not set foot on campus as an enrolled member at Ohio State, so let's not usher him off to the National Football League yet, but that is the expectation of everybody that Ohio State puts on scholarship, is to get to the NFL. We know that not everybody is able to get there for one reason or another, but Jordan Thomas is somebody that I feel is one of these safe players that certainly has what the trajectory is to accomplish those goals if he puts in the work.
Yeah, very, very talented. And again, the size, that you can't teach size at corner. So he's got that. He's got the competitiveness. So really just a lot to like here. Not hard to see why this is one of their top cornerback prospects throughout the cycle. It's been interesting to watch Brian Hartline and Tim Walton kind of draft off of each other, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to get these big-time receivers, and then they're going to go against your corners, and I'm going to get these corners. Hey, come compete against Brian Hartline's receivers. They've really been able to kind of use that in tandem to attract great defensive backs, great receivers. So that's continuing here. Notre Dame has become quite a recruiting rival. Even more, I would say, more under Marcus Freeman. I think Freeman's taken a more national, big picture approach to things. and obviously that's a thing Ohio State's been doing for a long time now, back to the beginning of the Urban Meyer era. So I think you're going to see a lot of these run-ins in the future, and this is another nice win for Ohio State against a recruiting rival.
Well, when you look at Ohio State's regional foes, the team up north, there's a lot of uncertainty with them. They have not necessarily recruited against Ohio State on a lot of guys. I think there's been a little bit more overlap here in the last 2 to 3 cycles than with Jim Harbaugh. You look at Penn State. There is some overlap in their recruiting, but maybe not as much. The proximity to New Jersey, you thought maybe Penn State would have had a stronger hand in this one. Obviously, it didn't. But Notre Dame really does seem to fit the bill of being Ohio State's regional recruiting rival. I mean, I still think when you look at Ohio State's recruiting on the whole, it's more Georgia, Alabama, USC, certainly Oregon. But in terms of within the region, it is far and away Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's really been a developing recruiting rivalry after they've played each other now 3 times in 3 years. So really nice pickup for Ohio State. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just a guy who I think checked all the boxes for Tim Walton: size, athleticism, competitiveness, academic, smart kid, good kid. Just kind of the prototype. What does Tim Walton look for? Oh yeah, that's what Jordan Thomas is.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you can sit there and find somebody that maybe nobody checks all the boxes unless you're Jeremiah Smith. But when you check as many boxes as Jordan Thomas does, that's why you were going to recruit him until the bitter end, if that's what it took, whether or not you had Albert Hill, whether or not you had whoever. This is somebody that you take in 10 out of 10 situations. And now Ohio State has him. I think that he is going to be somebody who will see playing time early in his career. I mean, you have to figure out, what does the defense look like as years go forward? Who's going to be calling the defense in 2027? I mean, we don't even know at this point. But this is something for fans. You should be excited about this one. You should be excited about all commitments. But this, just because this isn't Albert Hill, don't let that sway you that this isn't a big deal. This one is a big deal.
Yeah, great pickup for the Buckeyes. My last kind of thought on this is, we talk so much, and we're in the southern swing, so it's obviously we feed into that. We talk so much about North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas. Ohio State's had a really good history in recruiting New Jersey, and getting a guy like this out of New Jersey, you want to get these guys every year. You want to keep that open. You get a Quincy Porter, a Cody Simon. Like you want to keep these doors open in a place like New Jersey, especially North Jersey, where there's so much talent at those Catholic schools. And this is, again, helping them do that as well. So there's all sorts of positives here.
You know why Rutgers isn't back yet? Rutgers can't land kids like this. And that's ultimately the thing. If Rutgers can ever start landing these players with a higher hit rate, that's when Rutgers will be back, or will be, there for the first time. I mean, they had some success under Greg Schiano during the ACC days, or Big East, or whatever. Big East. It all runs together after a while, but this is a huge get, and I think as long as you keep landing these kids, landing Jordan Thomas in 2026 only helps you in 2027, because you can sit there and say, we came in, we got Quincy Porter, and we got Jordan Thomas, and Jalen McClain is from New Jersey, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I think that people want to go where they know people, or at least there are people that are similar to them in terms of upbringing and things of that nature, and geography plays a huge factor in that.
Yep. So great pickup for Ohio State. The Buckeyes really just stay red hot on the recruiting trail. It's been a really good run right now on the trail. There's going to be a lot coming up in June with official visits, so stay tuned with us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Myself, Jeremy Birmingham, who we've now added. If you hadn't heard that yet, I don't know where you've been if you haven't, but if you haven't heard that yet, Jeremy and I will be running the recruiting portion of the website in tandem together, so you're going to get great recruiting coverage moving forward. Kevin, Tom, Tony continuing to cover the team. Kevin doing his video productions, his podcasts, everything else that he does, and helping us out with recruiting when we need it. So we have a really well-rounded staff right now, and I think this will be a great time for everyone. If you haven't given us a shot yet, to do so as we get into official visit season. Ohio State camp's just a couple weeks away as well. Great time to sign up at BuckeyeHuddle.com. But yeah, we appreciate everyone watching and listening, and we will talk to you again soon. I think we got
10:15, which means it's probably about 10.
yeah, that's fine.